Hello, anyone who's here at this exact moment in time or is watching the VOD and has reached this moment. I'm Sant here. I felt like streaming some Guild Wars 1 a day, so I'm going to. When last we left this character, I had been, I don't know, hanging out in Radasum or something. I did Polymach off camera, because it's Polymach. I have a strategy for Polymach, and that's to pass along my favorite pieces and then just go through it, and it takes like an hour. A little bit less. But it's pretty much the same thing every time. So if you want to see me play Polymach, go to my YouTube channel. And if you're watching the VOD, congratulations, you're already there. I feel like my volume's... Oh, yeah, my volume's way louder than I normally have it on my computer. And you can go check that out and enjoy Polymach. Hey, Clean Star. Good to see you. But yeah, so I went through Polymach off camera because, like I said, I've done it a bunch of times already. It looks very similar every time because I just keep using the same pieces and playing the same strategies and everything, so. I got all of my Surin summons, so I just want to get the last Eye of the North skill off of Kirsch, and then I'm going to head down to Gates of Kryta, I think I have that. And make my way to Ascalon. I think Gates of Kryta is the furthest east I've gotten on this character. Yeah. I mean, I have a little bit from Greenwich Courthouse area, which is going to be really nice, actually, for having that positioning on my map, because I often have a really hard time finding Greenwich Courthouse. I got this from one of the Ebon Vanguard special missions. But I just want to finish off Kirsch's quest chain. Also, you'll notice I'm wielding a different pair of daggers. One of the people I play with sometimes on Sundays gave me some mods so I could set up these Zealous Enchanting daggers that I've been wanting. What should I get from that? 8 energy? That's pretty good. Nat 3. Ice Imps, the villains of all. Seems to be doing okay. So I think the quicker recharging Falling Spider is probably good. How have you been doing, Clean Star? I feel like it's been a little bit since I've seen you. I hope you are doing well. That's good to hear. Get a little tired of Vitier spawns. Get very tired of Sympathetic Visage. Maybe I should have had the other one. Or maybe I just get more energy back from that than I realize. I don't know. I'll definitely need to do some build stuff for the 6-person area, though, that I'm going to be heading into soon. I'm not too worried about the enemies down there, though. I'll probably bring Acolyte Sasuke. Should be able to do Path of Revelations. There's a bunch of quests that take place in the same, like, spirit area.
Hail, Lowlander.
My brain has been so screwed over by maps. That might be a weird sounding statement. What I mean by that is a lot of, like, so right there, she was saying Hail Lowlander in the bark, the audio clip. Which is referring to the fact that my character is from lands that are not as high in altitude. But I have this huge problem where I think of the way maps work, and low as being low on a map, which would be south, in the way my brain orients everything. So it's like I have this perception. Man, I wish I had a boss bounty right now. Boss bounty would be really good. I have this perception, this misconception of thinking of stuff, like, according to the way, like, it would look on a map. These guys are weak to gold, I think. Which is not how they're actually saying things. So if they're saying, like, going up into the highlands, they don't mean going north into the highlands. They literally mean rising in altitude into the highlands. And my brain's just so screwed up by how I'm thinking of using language to describe maps that, like, I have internalized it incorrectly. Let's not fight that shock phantom if we can, eh? Okay, it's here for us. Next. Oh, I see. You have gladiators defensed. I wonder if that one will be the most annoying one for me. I kind of wish the way that they had done weapon spells was different. What I mean by that is weapon spells... Man, we really need more enchantment removal against this one. Weapon spells, the way that they're currently implemented, overwrite your weapon's skin with a special weapon skill skin, but that means you can't see your cool weapon when you're using something like Splinter Weapon, which is a good idea, usually most of the time. Splinter Weapon's not doing a whole lot for me right now, but it's usually quite good. The only reason why it's not great right now is because it's just a bunch of single targets here. But, yeah, anyway, I kind of wish they had done it in a way that didn't hide your weapon skin, because there's so much that people do to invest in their weapon skins in this game. It would have been kind of nice. Most conditions, or not most conditions, it's immune to common conditions by being non-fleshy. There's the ephemeral spirit. And the reward for this quest, the last of the assurance skills that I needed. I now have all Eye of the North PvE-only skills on this character, something that many older characters I have cannot claim to have accomplished. Don't know why there's 2 more Deldrimore. I'd be curious to know what the development process looks like that ended on that. Also, wins is garbage, but, you know. Hey, Pipq, welcome. Anyway, now that I've done that, let's go ahead and leave my party behind to go to Gates of Kryta. So that way I can begin my journey to Ascalon. I'm going to have several considerations here. I want to kind of keep something like this up. Not sure about Mystic Twister here, though. Okay, well, let's start at the place that I know I want to start. I don't need most of this stuff. What? No. Oh, I literally had that in that slot and I just couldn't see it because it's so dark. There's a 13 guided by fate. I don't need it. That's not a terrible hammer for a hero. Like a conjure hero. Conjure fire. Not that I'm looking to do that or anything, but it's not terrible for that. I mean, it's a max hammer defense mod, so. Okay, Sedgir, let's get some stuff given to you. I'm gonna need this scene. Probably. Okay, let's see. I want Ogden, Dunkoro, Sasuke. I feel like a lot of my emphasis here is probably... Actually, let's bring Pyre. Do I have Barrage in my list of skills here? I do. So I might switch him over to a Barrage build from whatever this nonsense is. Hexes are going to be my big concern in the Journey over the Shiver Peaks because there's a lot of ice golems. I might just want Vec. Oh, you know what? Maybe I want Hada. Hang on. No. No fallback, no incoming. Never mind. Hada is a lot less exciting without fallback and incoming. Help speed me on my way. Do I have charge? Charge and copies thereof. I mean, my character herself has charge, I believe. There's Vim. No, I'm not seeing charge. Okay, so I'm not really going to be able to work on the run speed buffs. I could go with Olivia. I don't think this is going to be so dire that I'm going to need a bunch of... I could... You know what, let's bring her, but probably in a slightly different direction than what she currently is. Because I don't think I need that much monk. I think the amount that I currently have off of these two is probably fine, but Sasuke I'm going to drop Second Wind. I don't think I need that anymore, not when I'm going to have a Bipper. I'm still somewhat stuck on res skills. That's part of why I want to go further in here. Yeah, I'll probably stick a res on Pyre. What other... I've got Vengeances. I might just give Sasuke a copy of Resurrect and remove Hex. Again, I'm kind of concerned about Water Snares and Empathy. Do they use Empathy? Or is that in hard mode? I think they use Empathy in normal mode as well, but... The thing about hard mode is that they're like high enough level that they get the really quick recharges off of fast casting, so they can do empathy like every 4 seconds, and it's just impossible to keep it off. Okay, I have enough copies of Remove Hex that literally every single character in my party could use it and I'd be fine. I'm not going to run that many, but... Alright, so Sasuke, Elementalist. Is that further down? Yeah, it is, just a little bit. Let's see, what do I have here for fire? I could Mind Burn. Ooh, Savannah Heat's not bad, though. Alright, Savannah Heat. Honestly, I'm okay with most of this, but he definitely needs an attunement. Let's drop Phoenix. What I'm trying to decide here mentally is here is how I'm going to handle overcast stuff. I might just not bother. Let's go ahead and give him a copy of lava arrows. I should have fire attunements, right? Yeah, I've got 7. That is not a concern. And Savanna Heat. Right there. And then I'm dropping Flare, basically for lava arrows. Because I'm just not going to bother with overcasting stuff on him. Firestorm, I like Firestorm too much to not use. Rod Gorse is really good, but I kind of don't want to stick that on him. Rod Gorse is just too energy expensive. Energy intense. Maybe it's okay. Maybe. With the BIP. Yeah, let's go with Rod Gorse. It's really strong. I usually don't like Rod Gorse outside of dual tune situations, but... What's the goal here? I'm not playing in hard mode. My goal right now today is just to make my way to Ascalon City sort of area. But I'm playing with something that's called a Skill Booster League, or at least that's what I'm calling it. So if you're familiar with like Magic the Gathering, for example, or other trading card games, might do this as well. There's this concept of a booster league where you get like say 6 packs and you build a deck out of it, and then you play, and then at the end of that, or and then the end of that week, you get like another booster pack to add to your pool, right? So it's something that's kind of doing a similar idea where the skills I have and the number of copies that I have of them are limited by what I sort of open in this booster league. So part of what I'm wanting to do also by going to Ascalon, I give myself a new pack whenever I get to a new world region. So I've already gotten one for going to the Shiverpeaks, but I haven't gotten one, and this character is like finished prophecies as well, but I haven't gotten one for going to Ascalon, so I kind of want to go to Ascalon also to get a booster pack. Hey Hawk, good to see you. Glad you dropped by. So I just want to get Ascalon on her map. I want to get some of these other areas in the northern Shiverpeaks on our map, and get another pack. Hopefully, get another like Restore Life or something from getting to Ascalon. But once I've gotten there, then she hasn't gone through Nightfall yet. Just touched it enough to like get some skills and heroes and stuff. So. Yeah, no, I don't particularly need help. I appreciate the implied offer though. So I'm just right now figuring out how I want to outfit the heroes that I'm bringing with me. Okay. Do I want Mending Touch? I'm not sure. But let's drop Glass Arrows and Power Shot. Let's see. Do I think Mending Touches is important? I don't think so. I'm not sure about Remove Hex. I'll leave that there for the moment. I do have a copy of Restore Life. But that's part of why I want to bring Sasuke, is he's going to do a really good job of wrecking the ever-living snot out of the ice elementals in the northern Shiverpeaks. I might need slightly more condition removal than the Smite Hex, but I think the Foul Feast Plague Sending thing I've got going on Olivia will be fine for that. I do want Barrage. I remember I just checked and I do have Barrage. I'm not currently inflicting cracked armor. So that's not what we'd consider useful. But maybe I want to put it on and bring away of inflicting cracked armor. I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel like what I want to do with Livia is probably more fire magic or something. Yeah, we'll look at her in a moment. This is one of the spots where I really wish I had Arcing Shot, because Arcing Shot would be... Arcing Shot and Crossfire are nice filler bow attacks. Sloth Hunters can deal a lot of damage, but it's very energy intensive relative. Let's see. I mean, I don't necessarily need a ton more going on. Pin down is not bad, by the way. I find it to be a fairly reasonable... Crippled is a stronger condition than I think of it as being... Or, like, than I used to think of it as being. I've really come to appreciate snares. Maybe I just slot on Savage Shot for more interrupting. And you know what? I'll just slot on a Body Shot. Why not? It's not the worst option. Okay. So if I switch her over to Elementalist, I think 3 hard reses should probably be enough. Elementalist was down. Hey, Fear. Good to see ya. Glad you're able to drop by. Hope you've been doing well. Let's see. I feel like Breath of Fire, Flare. Do I want a Fire Attunement here as well? Probably. I have one copy of Phoenix that could stick on her instead of Sasuke, but her stuff is definitely a little weaker. Second vaccination shot yesterday. Ooh, exciting. Oh, yeah, that's definitely rough. But I'm glad you were able to get the, I'll just bring a Smoldering Embers. Yeah, no, I get you. I get you. If it's hitting you like that, I don't blame you at all. Alright, I was wondering if I wanted to keep Mystic Twister or not. I think I might bring Grent's Fingers instead. Let's see, if I bring Grent's Fingers, you cast this enchantment, you relieve the cripple in one other condition. Harrier's Grasp would also help. Yeah, exactly. That is the important part. For sure. You know what, let's try Harrier's Grasp. This is kind of an odd choice, but one of the things that oh, you know what? No, I am unstoppable. That'll deal with all sorts of problems. Crippled is a condition that I'm concerned about, so. Yeah, fortunately for me, I didn't have too bad of side effects, but you know, I would much rather take very unpleasant side effects from... I accidentally hit the spacebar. From, yeah, that's fine. Well, I should probably bonus up these guys some gear. Hang on, I'm gonna make some hourglass staves. But I'd much rather take the side effects of, like, the limited time side effects versus who knows what long-term consequences COVID will have. Okay, do I want the never... This is an interesting question. This is a horn bow, which is very slow. He's not going to keep using that. At this point, I have the choice of giving him either the flat bow or the long bow. Now, the advantage of the long bow is it's got a shorter arc, so it's better for interrupting. Given that's kind of the direction I'm taking him, I think I'm going to give it to him. It is bronze over brains, though, brawn over brains, which is not necessarily ideal. Nevermore Flatbow being 15 over 50 is a bit preferable in some regards, but I think I'm just going to roll with it, things that way. And I'm just going to go ahead and give her the Hourglass staff as well. Okay, let's clear this stuff out. Don't need it all. I'll hang on to this. And a Glacial Blade. Perhaps. It doesn't matter. I can make a Glacial Blade later. Always takes a moment to clear these out. I really, and I've mentioned this before, but I really wish that bonus, instead of dropping it in your inventory, popped up in a secondary. Oh, this is my monument armor my blessed monument armor that I figured out I'd drop for. But I really wish the bonus popped up a like collect panel, kind of like after a mission, extra stuff. How far from perma shadow form assassin am I? Well, it depends upon which of my assassins you're talking about. This one's probably needs. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what is needed for this. I don't usually care that much about trying to do permanent shadow form stuff. I'm unlikely to do it. I'm not necessarily doing stuff in hard mode that I'd really want it or things like that, so. Although Shadow Form would definitely be useful in stopping these guys from doing their shenanigans, it would also limit my damage pretty dramatically at the moment. Oh, Shadow Form running. Yeah, I'm not super practiced in Shadow Form running. So I'm just going to fight my way to Ascalon. I think there's quite a few skills that I'd be missing for running. I do have Deadly Paradox. Don't know why I'm missing Shadow Art so much. Do I have Dark Retreat? Doesn't look like it. Dark Retreat I know is useful for those. Yeah, I've done that. I've done it on a Whammo as well. Most of my party is locked down in deep freeze. You know, despite the fact that half of my party has, actually has enchant removal, or hex removal. Yeah. I'm a little surprised. This is kind of a weird oddity. Aiden, I don't know why Aiden gives me this quest. I'm a foreign character. He shouldn't have a quest for me, but for some reason, I guess they just overlooked it, and for some reason I can get this quest. I don't know why. I'm not going to, but... It'd be pretty easy to do. For what, 500? 500 experience? It's just not something I'm going to bother with. No funny names on our Snow Enten friend here. I think I'm thinking of the trolls, like Plug-a-Lug. Are there named Snow Ettins? Yeah, surely. Well, I know there's named Ettins because there's the one that often spawns at the end of oh, what is it? Boy, I'm barely able to do anything here. Divinity Coast? Delesio Seaboard. The one that spawns at the end of Delesio Seaboard. Oh. Interesting. I didn't realize those guys had, what's the thing that stops you from getting knocked down? The anti-knockdown thing. Yeah, that bridge sucks. I know the area you're talking about, and it's always a bit of a nightmare. Although I imagine this much fire magic will make it kind of trivial. Because I don't think the Gypsy Ettins are immune to knockdowns, right? Weird that these ones seem to be. Savannah Heat might have been a poor choice over Mindburn. These things are just dying so quickly. Doesn't have time to really ramp up. The advantage of having Pyrefear Shot along is that he will sometimes absorb the splinter weapons and thus spare me from having my beautiful, beautiful daggers hidden on occasion. Just to complete all of the games. I still have, so I've finished Factions, Prophecies, and Eye of the North on this character. I still have Nightfall, so I'm just gonna get her. Like I said, I want to get her to Ascalon, get another Prophecy skill pack for my sealed, or my booster league, and then head over to Nightfall. Don't know how long I'm necessarily gonna play today, but we'll see how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. Yeah, there's definitely parts of Nightfall that can drag a bit. The worms section always is longer than I want it to be these days. Word of Darkness is such an annoying quest. I liked how sunny Deldrimmer Bowl is. I had one character that actually just fought her way from, I think it was a female character, but they fought her way from Drockner's Forge all the way up to Beacon's Perch. So I had this weird split map situation going on. I really like the sunny, snowy areas. It's interesting to me how many of the wintry areas in Prophecies are like overcast or nighttime or whatever. It makes like this and Mineral Springs, Deldrimmer Bowl and Mineral Springs, kind of special as a result. Hello, Dwarven Hut. I like the little snow flurry effects that come off of this tree. Sometimes. Yeah, those little... It's a really beautiful sound, too. I don't know. I really love snow. And the fact that I live in a place that doesn't really get much snow is a little sad to me. We've got lots of snow in the winters where I grew up. But yeah, I agree. It's interesting, though. I wonder how much some of that is just, like, bias in that I'm familiar with it versus, like, you know, I played this game when it came out and it was like the graphics were really sweet back then sort of thing, and then you know, it's one of those things where but there's so much that goes into it. Like the stylization and the environmental art in this game I really like overall as well. So it's not just like texture quality, it's application. And I really like a lot of their application. Not that 13 gold coins matters much. But it's like, is there an element of nostalgia, or is this kind of at a threshold where, like, even if you hadn't been playing it since you were a teenager, or whatever, since the game came out sort of thing, how well does it hold up? It's an interesting question to try to know the answer to. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of areas where... Well, that's cool to know. And I definitely like how the game looks. So, Geldrummer Bowl is that? Oh, right. Beacon's Perch connects to Geldrummer Bowl and Lornar's Pass. I need to go back into the bowl. I also just really love the music. The music does such a good job with the environment. I really enjoy the musical landscape, and it's not just music either. There's a lot of like ambient sound effects that I like. There's a random bird call, and like wolves howling and other stuff. There's a lot that goes into making an area feel good. And like this is one of the things about games too, is like the sound design just matters so much. If you've ever played like more yeah. I don't have a reason to do a Drox run when I already have Darkness Forge on my map from going through the desert. But like one of the things that I think is a huge like differentiator between a game that feels amateurish and a game that feels professional is the sound design. Like there's a lot of little UI things and like how polished the UI feels as well and stuff like that. But really good sound design, or like really good is maybe a bit strong, but like solid sound design really makes a difference in how the quality feel of a game. So anybody who happens to be watching this and is a new game creator, you're like, I want to make my game feel professional, make sure you're paying attention to your sound effects and you have a good way of getting them added and connected up and working and everything. Cool. I do game dev stuff as well. What sort of stuff are you working on? There you are, Shiverpeak. 2D overhead shooter. Ah, okay. How's that going? Cool. Now, is it they're pretty close to done where, like, you've gotten all of the core stuff in and now you have the 80% of the game development that's, like, polish and bug fixing? Or is it the, like, actual, you've gotten through a lot of that so you actually are close to done? Man, there's a game still working on polish, but a lot of that's one. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I went to a game program in college, and the student projects, like, we basically never really had time for that, like, real polishing phase. You know, it was like get core functionality in there and like enough to kind of prove the concept of what you're doing in a way, as it were. And then when I was done and working with some people on a game, finishing that thing up just took for freaking ever. It's like you have all of the sort of things in there, but the phases of like polishing everything. Gotcha. Yeah, all of those phases of polishing were like dragged on for so long. So what are you working with now? Cool, cool. Yeah, there's a lot there that I'd like to learn a lot more about 3D modeling and animation myself. Or that's not entirely true. I'd like to probably 3D modeling, but animation is one of those things. I don't know, it'd be good to learn. It's like, it's not that... For me, it's like, these would be really good tools to have in my toolbox for stuff that I want to work on in the future. Okay, Game Maker Studio 2. Yeah. Now, yeah, that makes sense. Does the Game Maker language, is that functions like JavaScript, right? Where you can kind of I have very, very briefly poked at it. But where you can kind of like just make objects and stuff willy-nilly and be like, hey, you know what? I want to attach a member to this. Yeah, I've been working on a game in RPG Maker MV where I've been doing a lot of coding for it, and that's in JavaScript, and it took quite a while for my C-oriented brain to get comfortable with the mush that is JavaScript. I like having my well-defined types and everything just being kind of like a lump of clay that you can just slap variables onto, and like, oh yeah, this is an array, but you know what? I'm also just going to slap this other thing onto it or whatever. It's just like, bleh. Took a while for me to get used to. So that's part of why I had a hard time, like, when I was trying to initially poke around with Game Maker, of getting my brain around it, because the understanding how the programming language worked was not something that I had down. That makes sense. Yeah, most of my coding experience has been with C family, so C, C++, and C#. Technically, I started with BASIC as well. There's a Learn to Program BASIC CD that I borrowed from a friend, but the interpreter was on the CD, so when I gave it back, I needed to pick up something else, and I happened to pick C++ at the time. So I don't have a ton of experience with... Most of my experience with BASIC these days has been programming it, my TI calculator, which I've done on occasion. But I'm glad that the transition from BASIC to GML was relatively smooth for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's always the case. I'm not sure how well Unreal blueprints work, actually. They might be robust enough. It's pretty close, but I don't know on that one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what people do with Unreal 5. Just hoping I can get my graphics card upgraded before that becomes, like, really commonplace. And a lot of other parts of my computer. Definitely the stuff that I've been seeing of what they've been doing, showing off with it, just looks really impressive. Okay, somebody's gonna need to spend some quality time with the merchant. Highly salvageable. 7 iron ingots ain't bad, I guess. It's a question of, like, how much should I be trying to salvage some of this stuff? Like, this probably salvages... Oh, chitin fragment. Oh, that was no good. That salvaged an iron ingot. Is that iron ingot worth more than the thing was? Maybe? Yeah, my graphics card I think was pretty decent when I bought it, but that's been a few years ago now, so I'm pretty sure it is getting a little on the older side. Of course, their graphics cards are being snapped up by crypto miners, which is a little annoying. I mean, ideally, I'd love one of the NVIDIA ray tracing supporting. Lighting, to me, is something that I absolutely love. I absolutely love lighting, so the ray tracing stuff is really exciting to me. The RTX and whatever, but those are way outside of my reach. Yeah. I don't object to crypto on principle, but in practice and execution, I have huge problems with it. And I don't know how to address those problems. I hope that the crypto industry is trying to, though. Because I think that it needs to. Steam Deck does sound interesting, as a random aside. All right. I think it's over that way into the mines, right? Then down to Yakspend. Probably I'll get a new pack when I get into Greenwich Courthouse. I think when I'll give it to myself. Do I know if Unreal 5 will be free like Unreal 4 was? I suspect so. I feel like I've probably heard and I don't remember. I believe there is a free, like, version right now that people can start getting their hands on and monkeying about with. I definitely think that that business model was preferential to them, rather than the licensing that they used to do. So I highly suspect that they will continue to do things that way. The more developers that they can get buying into their ecosystem over Unity, the better. So Unity being like free for, like, or basically having it scale with your budget, was really, really a good move by Unity's part, and I think it's pushed Unreal the same way. So I really don't expect them to not try to do that. There's just, from a competitive standpoint, it's preferential to them to have people to buy into their ecosystem in their marketplace and to sell stuff on their marketplace and things as well. So I think that I don't know why they wouldn't continue having the sort of accessibility model in terms of affordability that they've done with Unreal 4. Just because I think that that's, according to the way that market, competition in that market is working, I think that would be a better idea. Because otherwise they're having to compete with Unity and Godot. I haven't really touched Godot, but that is technically a competitor. I'm not sure how good it is or how it works or whatever. But that one's free. And Lumberyard as well. I haven't really looked at Lumberyard. That's Amazon's game engine thing. But I don't really know the details of it. Let's see. Let's go around this upper route. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Definitely could. Ogden's not really concerned about trying to remove hexes in a prompt fashion, is he? Yeah, I don't know what Unreal's animation tools are like. I feel like rigging is also one of those, like, big deal skills that I don't think about much. But, like, would be kind of important to... Yeah. People who are good at rigging are... have quite a valuable skill. Yeah. My impression is rigging is one of those things that probably just about anybody can do, but actually being able to do it well and quickly is another matter entirely. But I've not really touched Blender 2.8. I'm not sure exactly what the current version is at. But after they had that really big update, I don't know, a year ago now, maybe? I'm not sure. Sometime in the last year or two. It's hard to keep track of time sometimes. I've been meaning to, at some point, go through Blender Guru's updated donut tutorial. But I have not. Although, to some extent, my focus has primarily been on... just because I've been working in RPG Maker, has not dealt with 3D stuff, so... Just a little bit... Oh, they're strip enchanting me. That's what's going on. Strip enchanting? If I go around this way, can I avoid this bridge entirely? Because this bridge sucks. No, you know what? Whatever. My backline can take care of itself. Yeah. I think syncing stuff up so that way renders and EV and cycles are similar in terms of what you're doing underlying is something that they've done. So you can at least like set it up in EV and then switch over to cycles for final renders if you want to. I don't know, I keep an eye on Blender because of with Blender Guru stuff, but realistically, I'd rather just be at a place where I can hire an artist. Yeah, he is. I really appreciate all of the stuff that he puts out there. Bunch of mysterious levers around here. There's some bars that I like Cold Shot on, but it's few and far between. Gunth's Grasp is like one of the few. Has really nice synergy with Gunth's Grasp though. What's pulling this lever even do? Oh, nothing. It's decorative. Okay, well I've skirted around the enormous bridge, so that's nice. Gotcha. Not sure how much that matters for making game assets or not, because once you tend to place the lights in the game engine, and I just know that I'm looking forward to need to remember I can stop getting knocked down from Giant Stomp with I am unstoppable. Once I finish like this RPG Maker MV game I'm working on, I am going to be making my next game in Unity, and I am looking forward to that, where I can have lighting, because I like lighting, and that is not really a thing in RPG Maker. Yeah. No, for sure. Like if you're making a pre-render cutscene or something. Yeah. Because of the sweet lighting engine they've got in that. I really like lighting contrasts and stuff like that, so I'm excited to be working in, like, I mean, I try not to get too excited, but I have a relatively high degree of excitement when I think about it for working in a system with actual ability to have lights. Because, like, you can do stuff in RPG Maker MV, but that stuff is basically tinting the screen. It's putting a color filter over the screen. Yeah. It'll make modeling a lot easier as well, I think. Because you don't have to worry about making level of detail models. Or level of detail, I would assume. I don't know. There's a lot of that sort of management that I'm not super knowledgeable about. Let's see. Traveler's Veil is that way, I think. But yeah, RPG Maker just does not handle like there's no lights in it, and that to me is something I want. I want lights. There's a lot of stuff that I can do to kind of like mimic certain effects, but do limited cone of vision around the player. It's like I want to finish something in that game engine, you know? Does Game Maker 2 support lights? I don't know what sort of stuff it supports that way. Yeah, that's what I thought. I know Unity 2D supports lights, so. I think you can write shaders for it. Is that right? Because if you can write shaders, you should be able to do stuff based on that. I think. I'm not like the biggest expert on shaders, but I've done some monkeying about with them. I don't know, it's just a lot easier if the engineer working with implements lights. Let's see. I can go down this way and drop by Boreless Pass. Or I can just head straight over there. Yeah, I don't need Boreless Pass on my map yet, so. That makes sense. Yeah, shaders can be kind of complicated. And the thing that's about shaders is it's really weird to think about. Because, like, fragment shaders... or are they sometimes called vertex shaders? I don't know. There's two parts to shaders, and it's been a little while since I've looked at them, so I don't remember exactly the terminology too well, but... the one that I've done more stuff with, I think, is the fragment shader. But that's where it's like... this is being applied to each individual pixel that's being rendered, sort of thing. And so, like, the way that you're having to think about it is a little wonky. Because it doesn't operate the same. Or it kind of like, because it operates on a per pixel basis, it's can be kind of confusing. These ice golems are getting absolutely wrecked by all my fire magic. Oh, they're caught up on this ranger problem. But there's two parts to shaders. There's one that like processes the polygons and like I guess it handles the projection of the polygons into the 2D space or into the like final render space. And then the other one is like, this is a pixel, what happens to it? Sort of thing. Because the grayscale sprite is a map of the actual sprite. Okay, good. They took care of the juniper bark. Okay. Nope, that's over here. That's fine then. There is an overlook, by the way, if you follow this around, that overlooks the axe bend, which is kind of interesting. Oh, I love Prophecies so much. Don't get me wrong, I like the rest of the campaigns too, but Prophecies has a special place in my heart. Ah, gotcha. Makes sense. Because you can definitely do a lot of cool stuff with shaders. Although being able to use node-based stuff like Unity supports makes it a lot easier to set shaders up, so you don't have to worry about actually programming them. Hello, Yakspend. Do I have any? Yes, I have a few un-ID'd doodads here. Huzzah, hit the jackpot. If anybody's wondering, I'm carrying around June's art supplies. Because I think I'm currently Luxon on this account. So until I stop being Luxon, I don't want to turn that in. Look at me, a bunch of Kurzik faction. Yeah, I can understand that. EOTN is definitely going to be better for loot. Prophecies for me is just a, you know what? I'm going to want more condition control before I go on to the next map, because I'm going to run into a lot of eruptions. It's going to be the best way to manage that. Assassin's Remedy, probably. I'm going to take a point out of that and stick them in critical strikes so I can get Assassin's Remedy lasting a bit more. I don't really need that or this, so I might just choose a shorter... Malicious Strike is not quite what I need, though. Wish I had a good... I mean, Jagged Strike obviously functions, but... I kind of want a nice... not part of a dagger chain attack. Assassins just don't really have that because I don't have space, though. Do a lot of Cathedral Flames, HM. That's cool. I've only done Underworld... I think I've done Underworld all the way through a long time ago before Doom. And then more recently, Fear and I did it. Who was in the chat earlier? I don't know if you're still around or not, but we went through the Underworld together. That was a really cool stream. VOD's up on my channel somewhere, but you'd have to dig for it. Hey, Fear. Just trying to relax off your shot, I assume. I wish there was... Yeah, but if I'm going to be doing this... Oh, well. Yeah, but that's not good here. Yeah. Besides, if I'm trying to get blind off, that doesn't really matter. Let's just go with Malicious Strike. If I'm not able to hit foe with condition, I'm not able to hit foe with condition. That'll be fine. This party is not really doing a lot to inflict conditions. But yeah, that Underworld run that we did together still is kind of something I think about sometimes. Because that was really cool. That's pretty impressive, I think. Yeah, we came really close to wiping in the spawning pools. Just like barely getting back up. It was like down to was it Hero? Was it just me? I don't remember. But yeah, that was a really intense moment. Let's see. Doom went pretty smoothly for us, thankfully. Yeah. The things went, as I recall, things went fairly well for us with the Four Horsemen in the Chaos Plains. But we dropped a lot of spirits and did a lot of running back and forth. That VOD could be fun to go rewatch now that I think about it. The thing about having VODs is you get to go relive experiences. Although I've been theoretically wanting to rewatch my slow playthrough. I don't even know what you call that series. Which the slow playthrough was where I played through, it's a lore-focused playthrough, but I also did some other stuff with restrictions that I was using to try to capture like more of that first-time experience and things like that. The rules that I'm using for the Skill Booster League actually, I set up for doing the Nightfall portion of that slow playthrough because that's when I started doing stuff with heroes. But yeah, so I want to rewatch that. At least portions of it. The Prophecies part. I like Prophecies best. I just love Ascalon. These Hydra can be really dangerous. At some point, I'm going to come into this zone and vanquish it, because I have the Zaishan quest for that. That's going to be later, though. Man. Here we are in Ascalon. I love ruins so much. I want to know what this place was like before it got wrecked, you know? What was going on here and... what sort of cities were these and... yeah, pre-steering only gives us a partial picture though. You can't go this far west in pre-steering. I guess maybe you can, but not this far north and west. We're definitely farther north. Because pre-steering... let's see. I want to say... trying to remember how everything lines up. I do have a character that's in pre, but I also have a ludicrous number of character slots, so... but even in pre-steering, there's a bunch of ruins and places. Like... I really get the impression Ascalon has been a much more impressive place at one point in time. Yeah, you got the title and then left. I think people have definitely done that too. I got the title and then stayed because I don't need that character in post-steering, and I want a character in pre-steering to be able to bop around. Yeah, I only have the one. These guys are a heck of a lot more threatening when you're level 9 than when you're level 20 in max armor. Yeah, I have like 24 characters, so quite a few. don't know. I was expecting condition removal to not work quite as well as this team's condition removal has proven to be. I've not really needed Assassin's Remedy is what I'm saying. I was expecting that to be more important than it's proven. I really like, this is one of those interesting things in Prophecies. I really like how they've done stylistically, the resurrection shrines look different in different regions of the world. And I think that's really cool. A game that I'd love to see set in the Guild Wars universe is like a tactics game, kind of like a Fire Emblem game, that follows Adalbern's rise to power. I think that'd be really cool. Ah, yes. Storm Riders. Wow, they are going down fast. I think they use backfire. But, yep, they do. I think it'd just be really cool to see Ascalon in previous stages of not wreckedness. Just taking random screenshots because A, I need stuff for thumbnails, and B, Ascalon is amazing looking. It's a little bit like Breath of the Wild though. Breath of the Wild also has a lot of ruins, and that's something again that I love there. Or like the feeling of the forest temple in Ocarina of Time. I don't think I get 2 energy from Char that don't give me experience, if I remember correctly. See, I want to go to this loop and then the next loop. No, the next loop's over this way. And this will take me up to the courthouse. Probably need to fight these gargoyles though. Man, I would love to see a game like Guild Wars that has something similar to the Gambit system from Final Fantasy XII to program them. Maybe I'll make that someday. I don't know. I feel like that's a big project. But maybe someday. On the other hand, if you have a system like that set up, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to program the AI. Because then you just use it to program the AI. Also means that you could set up AI to kind of function differently. It's interesting too, I've thought some about how I would set up a Pokemon game that tries to play more like a player. Like learning information over time and things like that as you do things. Prophecies general. This is a general pack. Okay. Yep, that certainly is a pack of skills. I'll scroll down to show you the new stuff. So things that were, cause it pops up a different window, but that's not captured. I got another copy of Unyielding Aura, which unfortunately is not Restore Life. I don't know why Restore Life doesn't show up more often. It is a common. New stuff: Shadow of Fear, Searing Heat, I Will Survive, Essence Bond, Verada's Aura, Insidious Parasites. Yeah, most of this stuff not terribly exciting. Offering of Blood's not terrible, but when I have a Bipper, it becomes a bit redundant. I think Bip's a little too strong. As a side note, Soul Leech is also not great. I'd rather run Backfire the majority of the time because that doesn't take up my elite slot. Slightly longer cast time, slightly more energy, but more damage and not taking up my elite slot are both pretty significant. Although Backfire does have a longer recharge, fast casting will bring down both its cast time and its recharge, so I don't think anything that's going to make me want to change any of my bars right now. As unfortunate, I was hoping for another copy of Divine Healing. I was hoping for another copy of Restore Life, but I did not get those. I did get another Mend Ailments, but I don't really need a bunch of copies of that skill anyway. Where is it? I got another Prot Spirit. Yeah, I got a second Mend Ailment. This is not terrible. I wanted to run that on 2 characters, but I think I have so many Smite Hexes. Yeah, I don't know. Oh well, it is what it is. Standard sword, please. Let's go back to the game. I want to get myself to Ascalon. Oh, right, I'm down to 4 people. This is an interesting question. I feel like... Oh, that's cool. That's really nice to be able to have. Okay, Acolyte Sasuke I definitely want. I feel like in this area... Okay, I'm going to kick Dunkoro. I think I'm just going to grab Vek as Vek is. So he has the Restore Life, and he has a Gift of Health for additional healing. Yeah, I don't know how energy's going to be. Do I want Assassin's Remedy? I'm going to be down on... That's cool. I guess I'll keep this. This is probably fine. I forgot I'd be dropping down. Might be able to just run past things if I really wanted to, but... Eh. Yeah, it's always nice to have support on game projects. Any sort of project like that can become kind of big. So I definitely have minimal direct healing, but I think it should be okay. I don't think we're going to need a whole lot. Okay, well, those guys are all dead, so... Yeah, NRTs are a very common type of healer because of the energy management being stronger. This party config has minimal healing. But I also don't really need a whole lot for this area. I need to get down to the breach. I don't know. I think I want to go this way. I like having a monk around, but I fully understand why most of the time people don't. Well, part of it too is soul twisting bars are just so strong for damage mitigation that it makes protection prayers a lot less useful. Displacement's permanent better Aegis, and then Union is permanent shielding hands effectively, and for your entire party, and then permanent Prot Spirit with shelter. And it's just like that combination just mitigates so much damage. And adds so much durability to your team that at that point all you need is somebody to actually bring health bars back up when they start getting a little low, and you can certainly become a little fragile if you're not careful, but I think I want to go this. Hang on. I think this will curve down and around to where I want to go. Yeah, okay, yeah, I think it will. Let's just keep following it. I'm realizing that, like, I don't spend a whole lot of time in Dice at Lowlands, and so I feel like it is an especially confusing map that I think I have a tendency to get quite turned around on. Well, that guy didn't like that. Have you figured out your marketing strategy for your game? 'Cause that's a hard part. I don't know, maybe you have more experience marketing than I have had. Two NRT, 2 U. Oh, 2 Mesmer. 2 Writ and a Paragon. You play Scythe, AW. Gotcha. I know that, like, marketing is so tricky. I am by no means skilled at marketing, by the way. Just my experience with it. Or being bad at it. Has colored my perspective some. What I will say is, like, one of the hardest things to do. This is somewhat tangentially related, but if you are trying to crowdfund, like a Kickstarter or something, in order to be able to hire artists, that's going to be nearly impossible. Because it's the art that sells people on stuff so often. And so being like, hey, we want to hire artists, without having, like, initial art in order to be able to do that is, like, yeah. Of course, this is also condition removal. Well, I certainly wish you luck in figuring out the marketing for your game when it's ready to be released. Oh, just gonna put it up on itch.io, maybe Steam, and then just go with word of mouth on Facebook or whatever. Yeah, I should probably allow itch.io and MooBots thing. I want to make sure people aren't coming in here spamming random junk links, but I need to expand my whitelist some, it appears. Hang on one second. I'm trying to find a blank note card to make a note on. Yeah, that's good enough. To MooBot link whitelist. Okay, I have made a note to do that. Time to go to Pick and Square. Might just stick to this bow for a moment. Sketch artist and illustrator. That's neat. Those are skills that I'd like to be better at. But I say that, and yet I don't put the time into developing them. So do I really mean it? I mean, I would like to be better at it, but not enough to actually put in the time. It turns out the short bow's doing real good work here. What am I getting? Oh, there we go. So what sort of stuff have you done with being a sketch artist and an illustrator? Like, what does that look like? Because the thing that immediately comes to my mind is like children's books, for example, and illustrations for those. But that's obviously just one potential application for something like that. Done illustrations for treasure books and business advertisements, murals. Cool. There's like a bunch of different stuff there. I feel like making comic book art would be pretty intense. I imagine there's a lot of deadlines and stuff that you have to worry about with that sort of thing. Yeah. That too, because you need to try to make sure that. See, do I need to clear out my inventory? Probably not a terrible idea. Highly salvageable, eh? Yeah, when we're getting to the spot of highly salvageable, meaning 4. Dust is probably worth more, and I'm happy to convert these into granite. Art tells a story and the layout makes sense, but also leaving space for text and making that flow smoothly. Oh, not just that the art tells a story and the layout makes sense, but also leaving space for text and making that all flow smoothly. Yeah. That makes sense as additional like considerations. Oh, unidentified. Okay, that's worth 5 gold, and it's salvaging a 20 gold worth of wood, so we'll sell our 20 gold worth of wood. I'm hanging on to these char hides, by the way, because I can trade them in multiples of 4 for fur, and I'd rather do that. Not that I have any immediate use for fur, but... Man, it took quite a while for me to realize that the breach is called the breach of the breach is a breach made by Duke Barrett and not the Char. Also, you get into the Northlands down that general direction. Aiden takes you along that path for his quest in here. Yeah, whatever. I'll switch back over to my daggers. And you help keep me stock, or you help keep the prices of iron high enough that it's worth selling. So I appreciate it. Getting close to Ascalon City. I hate this tar effect. The 30% snare is annoying. I have Gates of Kryta and Ruins of Sirmia. Yeah. Hey, Monktastic. Unstoppable doesn't stop tar. It just stops you from being knocked down or crippled. Unfortunately, tar is neither of those effects. It's alright. There's a lot of skills in this game. It's very easy to think of it as an anti-snare skill, but unfortunately it's not. It doesn't stop you from moving slower than normal. Old Ascalon. Hello, Phalanx Talic, I think? Welcome. Hope you're doing well. I have almost finished my journey. Except I took a wrong turn there. See, I'm also going to want to hit up Sarlacc Sanitarium. You know what? Let's be strange and go to Sarlacc Sanitarium first and then up to Ascalon City. I don't feel like I've ever done it that way. So Baradin's estate should be further west, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Those can be quite the challenge, as I understand it. Let's not go around that Balthazar statue. Let's go south. Take the long way around. Why not? Which campaign would you Iron Man in? Is this a dead end? This might actually be a dead end. Realizing I don't actually know the spot where something like a scythe or a sword would be a bit better than the daggers, just because the daggers chaining doesn't work too well when enemies die so quickly. Gotcha. Well, that does have you do kind of the most stuff, since you miss out on a lot in prophecies otherwise. Okay, so we do need to go at least towards the statue of Balthazar at the entrance to Green Hills County. You know, as much as I like Ascalon, I could do with fewer Devourer pop-ups. Makes sense. Oh my goodness. I'm starting to really wish I had gone Scythe Mastery. Yeah. I know what you mean. I think I've touched most parts of the game at this point. Streaming it helps with that, incidentally. Yeah, dagger spam is less good in this area where I'm overleveled against everything, though, and having AoE scythe would be a little bit better, I think. Very shallow of the hermit. That's true. It will definitely impact things. I think it's just time for a bow. I wish they'd thought of the idea of giving collectors dialogue or like world building information at this point in development of the games. But all he does is tell me about ornate Grawl, or tell me that he wants ornate Grawl necklaces and suggest I go find an outfitter. Mm-hmm. There's definitely stuff that I have like less experience with. DOA, a lot of the elite areas. I haven't done the deep in absolute ages. Technically, I like stepped in there with some people that I play with on Sundays. And then we got absolutely wrecked. But when I did the slow playthroughs, I went through the slow lore playthrough stuff. I went through and did like the vast majority of the like normal and the campaign quests. Yeah, there's a lot of side quests. I think Eye of the North has a really good balance in terms of side quests, but Nightfall and Factions are like Prophecies needed more side quests, in my opinion, especially in the like Kryta and Meguma areas. I think those areas are exceptionally light on side quests. The skirting around the catacombs here. Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah, but Factions has a lot of very redundant feeling side quests, and Nightfall has a lot of side quest chains. Eye of the North feels just a lot more like they put effort into side quests and made them feel significant, in part because they gave us a lot of PvE-only skills or otherwise like significant things with them. And then like this is catacomb stuff, so it should be over here. I probably have gone quite the long way around. But Factions has a lot of very redundant feeling side quests that are just like the basic lore of the side quest is look at how inept this Celestial Ministry is. Or Plague's bad. And it's like I don't mind some amount of that, but it's just like that or like the gangs are a problem. I don't know. Factions is like kind of like there's so many things I love about Factions, but I kind of feel like it's the weakest of the trilogy. In terms of the campaigns. And then yeah, there's just so many quests in Nightfall that I think a lot of people aren't going to have done them. I love Prof. But that's the thing, is like all of this stuff is like subjective preferences, so. And like what things are the things that you personally enjoy. Hey, Ashford. Yeah, I feel like Prophecies did a lot of stuff that works, I think, pretty well as a standalone game, but then doesn't fit super well into the campaign setting. There's Gwen's Broken Flute. Don't need that, though. I have only somewhat recently come to realize that Gwen's Broken Flute here is the one that was broken that you find in pre-searing. Like, you find her broken flute in pre-searing and bring it to her, and she's like, oh, it's broken. And then you bring her a new flute. Is not the new flute getting broken. It was the old broken flute. Hmm. Just take a screenshot of a map with Sarlacc Sanitarium, but no Ascalon City. Prophecies is very big. Yeah, in terms of Guild Wars 2, I played it for several months until I realized that I was kind of forcing myself and I wasn't actually having fun with it, and that's when I stopped playing. There's so many things that I think are that I really like conceptually about it. It's just the core combat gameplay. Again, I haven't really played it in quite some time, but last I did, the core combat gameplay was just quickly becomes very boring for me. Yeah. Making my way to Ascalon City from Sarlacc Sanitarium. Yeah, I kind of wish they had stuck more to the Guild Wars 1 formula as well. I agree. I feel like my impression from outside looking in and seeing the stuff that they're talking about, I think what one of the things that happened is they were looking at all of the things that caused, like, all of the, like, problem points with Guild Wars 1, and were trying to iterate away from them. And I think the Guild Wars 1 formula works brilliantly. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't have weak points. And, yeah, no, exactly. I love making builds in Guild Wars 1. That's part of why I made this challenge program. Like, to break me out of ruts of using the same skills over and over again, right? And so, like, you can generate a codex here if you want to. There's a whole tab of, like, different challenge settings. There's a template draft, so you can, like, make templates and draft them. I don't know, start a draft round. Sure. Which does stuff, and I think is cool. Is based off of Wooden Potatoes Monster Draft. But so, like, I mean, the way that I understand it, there's a couple of things that they're trying to get away from Guild Wars 1. One of them, like, most of them are complexity related. My impression is that they found Guild Wars 1 really difficult to balance. Because of how many, like, interlocking pieces there are and, like, ways for things to go, like, all over the place. Hello, Ascalon City. It's good to be here. So I definitely recall them talking about that. Izzy, in particular, was commenting on it. I don't know why they got rid of energy. That was a terrible move. Let's see. I'm just going to salvage some stuff here. But the other thing that they wanted to try to do something about was the build elitism issue. Or, like, the issues where people could just make bad builds and kind of screw themselves over with them. And so they wanted a flatter balance, but flat balance just means nothing's good, so it doesn't feel like making any builds has any meaning. So that's not actually a great goal to work towards. I haven't played WoW, so it's not a point of comparison for me. The other thing that I just discovered is I just don't like open world MMOs. There's too many, like, design compromises you have to make for them that I personally dislike. So that's just something that I came to discover as I thought about it. Yeah, for sure. And it's like different areas allow for different things and things like that. But there was some amount of, like, you have to run builds with these specific skills to get groups because people didn't want to, you know, waste a bunch of time. People with bad skills. But it's like the game could have done more to try to teach energy management as well. I think some of the things that cause problems, like a really good example of a skill that causes problems is Heal Other. Heal Other is a really, really potent heal, but with a 3-second recharge, you can use it a lot more than you should. And you shouldn't spam it. Like, it's a heal that you should kind of keep in reserve for when you really need to get health bar up a lot. Because, like, otherwise, like, it's very easy to goozle your entire energy pool with it and things like that. But I mean, new players could make the game artificially more difficult for themselves by running those bad builds. Is kind of the part of the issue there. Okay, let's see. I want to tweak my bar because I would rather run a scythe right now. Sure, we'll keep that around. I don't know that I really need that. I definitely don't need I Am Unstoppable here. Radiant Scythe is nice. This is nice. And I guess Farmer's Scythe? I need some more scythe attacks. Oh, I'll get those with time. Heal Other was meant to exist just to make Word of Healing feel like an elite heal. I mean, it's not just that, but yeah, I mean, there's I like Guild Wars 1's system quite a lot. And I really like what it does. I want to make games that use similar concepts. But I can also kind of see where people at ArenaNet maybe were getting a little tired of some of the challenges of working with it. And I can understand that, even if I feel very differently about them. But it frustrates me that Guild Wars 2 is such a different game from Guild Wars 1. Yeah. No, for sure. I can see that being something that could be really rewarding. Let's just slap on Snowstorm. Yeah. Like, it's not, strictly speaking, the biggest issue, but because I was like, I don't know, more elite areas, but yeah, I don't know. I love the Guild Wars 1 build system. I love the dual profession. I love the way attributes work. I love so much about it. And boy, howdy, is that actually absolutely devastating. I really wish Guild Wars 2 hadn't abandoned it so thoroughly. Yeah, no, for sure. And that's where, like, Mesway, the, what, like 5 times Mesmer, whatever's going on now, is just, like, so generically strong at most areas that there's not a whole lot of reason to do Buildcraft for a lot of people. Yeah, and that's being willing to learn to play in the elite areas and stuff. I mean, there's different ways of kind of examining a lot of stuff, and I don't think wanting people to be bringing sufficiently good builds is a sufficient, like, it is to an extent a downside, but I don't think it's something that is such a big deal that it warrants dropping the entire system, you know? Personally, I'm just trying to communicate what I perceive was ArenaNet's reasons is all. Even if I, like, disagree with them. And then, like, there's some stuff that I think is cool about having skills attached to weapons and such that they did. And like the weapon swapping to swap skills and all that sort of stuff. Like that sort of system would work great in Dragon's Dogma and that style of gameplay. But it's all like dependent upon the context of the game. Like to some extent, my problems with Guild Wars 2 are it's called Guild Wars 2, which makes me want it to be more like Guild Wars 1. It's part of the problem Dark Souls 2 had, where it wasn't enough like Dark Souls 1 for people. Because the name sets up an expectation, right? But the other big thing is just that their combat design for general encounters out in the world, I didn't like. And there's lots of things that they could do to try to fix that. I think one of the big problems that I have with Guild Wars 2 is because it emphasizes supporting solo play the way that it does. Yeah, that'd be nice. But I'm not sure who would necessarily be running that at the studio. But one of the things with I've kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, just running around here. Where was I? Oh yeah, enemy design in Guild Wars 2. So like, most of my boredom comes from it feeling like I just walk up to an enemy and I use my skills on loop, and it does not matter what my skills are. It doesn't change how I fundamentally play. Everything having to be basically DPS plus some other thing I find to be not inherently a bad thing, but the execution is really frustrating. Because like fundamentally you're going to want your gear to increase your damage output in one way or another. I'm gonna go over this way. Get killing test debris stuff. And the fact that you will want to make sure you have damage is... Yeah, I think there is nuance to it, but there's not a call for that nuance. You know, like, that's a distinction, right? Like, there can be... I'm trying to remember where all of the things for the bonus are. Like, what I mean is, like, in Guild Wars 1, you care about a lot of the nuances because the systems make you care. Okay, there is a wreckage over that way. I was thinking there was. But in Guild Wars 2, the general enemies do not make you care about the nuance, and the game doesn't really teach you some of the stuff. I know Wooden Potatoes has talked a lot about like some of the mechanics with fields and finishers on fields and how that does stuff, and how working that system can help you deal a lot more damage and things. But it's like, okay, that's cool and all. Wait, I'm seeing the one by the Devourers. Never mind. It's like, cool, I'm glad that system is in there, but he's right in that the game never really teaches you how to do it or requires you to learn it. At least for most of the content. And that's a huge issue, right? Because it means that fundamentally, any depth that's there is not really meaningfully there. But I don't know. I would prefer, like, I want it to feel like build choices that I'm making are meaningful and all that sort of stuff. The other thing too is, like, I understand why they added a bunch of races, playable races, and I think that's cool. But I also really miss having very distinct visual aesthetics for each of the professions. That's a minor thing to the core gameplay, but anyway. Like, one of the things too is like the instance system that, and like Guild Wars 2 is so convenient in a lot of the stuff that it's trying to do. Yeah, except they didn't make racial skills any good because they didn't want you to have to be like, oh, I have to play a Norn to be a warrior or whatever. So they just made all of those like racial skills like 80% as good as any other skills. But like in Guild Wars 2, one of the things that you run into is raids are like, so many of the systems are convenient, but you don't really have a reason to like really pair up with people a lot of the time. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. But also like this I'm trying to make sure I keep my train of thought here while playing the game and following chat. Like the waypoint, the sheer number of waypoints means that you don't spend, like, there aren't, like, one of the things Guild Wars 1 has, in part because it's an instance game, but also in part because there's a very limited and select number of fast travel points that function as grouping hubs, because you have to group for Guild Wars 1. Generally speaking, obviously there's lots of stuff that you can do solo, but the game wants you to group up. And so the systems in Guild Wars 1 encourage you to group up. Can I actually go back around this way? I think I can. And by doing that, they're able to make these hubs where players gather and meet and join together, and so you get more of a community because players are coming to centralized places to make teams because they need to. Whereas in Guild Wars 2, you don't need to make teams, because I mean the most of the game is not designed around people doing that, and then because the open world doesn't need it, and the Zergs are inherently like, you don't have to communicate with or coordinate with anybody for giant Zergs, for like world bosses or whatever. So, and then there's just so many people just whatever using the map chat as like a chat room or whatever, and it's just, you don't get the tighter cohesion of like trying to work through a piece of content together. Instead you get people talking about like random other things, politics and whatever. It's not that it's like any given thing is necessarily superior or not, but there's just consequences to systems. And I think one of the consequences to having so many waypoints is it means that players are not gathering in specific places because they're able to spread out a lot more to be able to pursue their individual specific goals more efficiently. And then the fact that you don't have to partner in order to go through the open world means that players are not gathering together either from that. So, I don't know. Just, there's consequences to how the game is designed, basically. And that mean that you might see a lot of players running around the open world, but that doesn't mean that you have any reason to actually do anything with them. You're playing the game by yourselves next to each other instead of playing the game together. And that's what happens a lot with Guild Wars 2, but not Guild Wars 1, because Guild Wars 1 functions differently. Yeah, exactly. So.
The Char invasion.
Yep, it's the Char invasion force. Huzzah. I don't know why the camera's turned the wrong way there. Yes. That's a good way of phrasing it. Hello, Jester Almighty. Welcome. You jumped in for a sec because you saw Guild Wars 1 stream with a decent title. I've heard so many good points here. Just recently started again and trying to go for a Guam. One of my main thoughts is, how am I going to do this when I don't have any friends playing it, people I know to party up with? Yeah. I recommend, by the way, if you're looking for, except for the world. Yeah, the idea of the dynamic events is really good. I think the execution leaves something to be desired. If you're looking for people to team up with, by the way, discord.gg/GW, the Guild Wars Global Discord, is a great way to try to find people to meet up with. I think, do I have a thing for it? I don't remember. Not that. Maybe GWG? I don't know. There's some Moobot commands. Hey Moobot, what are your commands? Okay, well, I don't remember how to figure it out, but I have a thing for linking to it. I think it's... There you go. Yeah, you should be able to find... I think I have one to link to the Guild Wars Global Discord. But I think it's just discord.gg/GW. I can check that after I finish this mission. Captain Coolhan, actually. Whoop. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, I should also authorize Discord links. Okay, cool. Whoa.
You're back. Well done. What news of the Char?
Sir, we found Bonfaz Burntfur and the Char army in a valley.
Cool, we found Bonfaz Burntfur. Discord. There. Oh, yeah, legit. Yeah, I gotcha. I apparently need to think to add Discord to the allowed things list. Do I want to... How long have I been going anyway? The Codex tool is this guy right over here. So I'm using it for a skill booster league. Which is somewhat more complicated. It also has a built-in template code parser if you want that. But there's also template drafting, which is based on Wooden Potatoes Monster Draft. There's a bunch of different challenges in this challenges tab. So basically, if like you want to have things to change up your playthrough of Guild Wars, there's a bunch of stuff here for doing it. Different challenges. And then there's also Codex with settings for the Codex. So it's a C# tool that I wrote that I've been using just to make things more interesting for my own self. I am hesitant to use Toolbox because I'd rather avoid any potential issues. Yeah, it doesn't interface directly with the game, but it's a side thing. I mean, that's fair enough. I personally enjoy stuff that gets me to change up my build craft. But that's me and how I enjoy playing the game. Don't know how much more I'm planning on doing today. If I hang on to the char hides... I mean, Slaver's Exile definitely is a painful area. Hang on. What's going on outside? I might want to be taking a walk soon. Update weather, please. I can tell you right now that what you're reporting to me is at least somewhat wrong. There we go. Ah, I see. It is hot and sunny. Oh, man. Yeah, I should probably get rid of that one. That one's old. That was for when I was doing a, if I were doing a theoretical redesign of all the professions. How am I approaching it? I would like some rebalancing of stuff, but yeah. I mean, if you're curious in that particular video of like how would I approach basically doing a very rough balance pass on Guild Wars 1, the massive list of VODs is up on my YouTube channel. For anybody who's interested. I might do... I think I might actually just go ahead and start working my way through Nightfall now. I'm going to update my stream title because I think I'm going to do a little bit of this. Oh, my goodness, it is laggy here. I don't plan on doing like a ton, but... Training area, eh? Hey, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I have to do command training, don't I? I think so. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Alrighty, let's take me to the encampment, please. I think the thing that would make me most excited about like a remaster of Guild Wars 1 is if it meant that it would come with balance patches and more new content eventually. I wouldn't hold my breath too much on that, but if Guild Wars 1 ever has to go down, I do want them to release like all of the tools and source code and assets and everything publicly, as well as allowing people to download their characters. Hang on. Actually... There. Hey, Monktastic, thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate it. I don't anticipate any sort of remaster. Ogden, might I suggest you do this? What are you even doing, Ogden? I certainly don't want them messing up Guild Wars 1 for the people who are currently enjoying it, so... I see what's happening. Ogden keeps trying to heal the wounded villager over there, who keeps getting a condition on her. That's not going to solve the issue. The issue is passive won't stop him from healing. I could disable the smite condition to stop it, but I might as well just swap him. Sasuke's not going to try to... No, Sasuke's going to try to do hex removal instead. I'll just disable these hex cure skills. I don't remember. Do I just need to bring everybody together? Back into Area 1. Okay. Thanks for dropping by, Pip. I appreciate it. Okay, is that all I need to do for command training? Excellent. Go back to Commodon. Let's turn these back on. I should probably switch back over to a dagger bar. Thank you. Okay. Stella and Pupa. Where's my pointy sticks? There they are. I don't really need that for that. I think I want to switch back over to this. It's going to be weird being able to play through this with all this. I don't think so. My understanding is that one of the people in like a higher, like in a position when NC Soft is like, yeah, no, I still really like Guild Wars 1. We're keeping that sucker around. So I think it's actually like even above ArenaNet that they're like, nah, Guild Wars 1, it's going to stay. That's the impression that I've gotten anyway. I don't know how accurate it is. Okay, that's in Plains of Jaren. I think there's a little bit more effort than that. They certainly have to do some amount of work to keep the servers functioning and everything, but it's pretty minimal and they make money from it. I'm pretty sure that the amount of money that they're getting from it far outweighs any expenses that they have from like maintaining it and making sure it's continuing to work and everything, because they have to do some server maintenance and stuff. I think there's some people who kind of poke at it. But I'm pretty sure it's got pretty good ROI, because people are still buying the game and people are still like buying more copies, buying more character slots and storage panes? Panels and panes are two differently pronounced words that are otherwise superficially fairly similar and stuff, so. Yeah, I think they only have people like that are maintaining it in terms of like active doing stuff. There are some people who are like working on it like on their own time, as it were, but they've definitely had some amount of conversion, though, from people playing Guild Wars 2 who want to check out this game as well. Not sure if this will be adequate for this or not. Yeah. No low-hanging fruit thread for sure. I would love to have a weapon mods trader, but I don't know if that's low-hanging fruit or not. A weapon mods trader or the ability to buy weapon mods for like copper Istan coins. A land of heroes. I don't know how much they're charging for it. I have enjoyed the bonus mission pack. There's some cool skins that you get from it, and I do think that the story stuff that you get to see from it is pretty neat. Yeah. There's constantly people showing up in the Guild Wars Global Discord being like, hey, I'm getting back into this game, or I want to get, or like, I'm coming from Guild Wars 2 and I want to play it or whatever, and they're like, welcome to the better Guild Wars. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have definitely enjoyed the bonus mission pack. Man, I think this is going to be a lot easier for me because I've bothered to level up my heroes to 20. I think that the 4 stories in it are interesting. And there's different play patterns with each one, which is kind of cool. Because normally you come here and your heroes are like level 15, so. I started playing again last year. Yeah, with lockdown. Oh yeah, Guam is totally possible without other players. Some of the areas that you're probably going to struggle in is cartography. I think really wants you to be able to get to the Jade Quarry and Fort Aspenwood, which does require a certain amount of doing stuff with other players. But yeah. Well, the issue with Jade Quarry and Fort Aspenwood is that they are fairly large regions on the map. So I think being able to go into them to map them is very helpful for it. Otherwise, the biggest issue really is accumulating all of the because for cartography. For if you're not gonna, you're going to have to max some really grindy titles. And by that I mean the consumption titles. So that's Party Animal, Drunkard, and Sweet Tooth. Those ones just require you to consume a ludicrous number of things, and that's going to be very slow if you're going to accumulate all on yourself. Or all on your own. I think most people usually try to get those as part of going for Guam. These guys are going to be annoying. I'm going to need to make sure to bring stuff to deal with blocking, aren't I? Dang it. I was hoping to not pull those. You can substitute them with other titles that are like account-wide titles, but getting account-wide titles is usually very grindy as well. I don't think that 27 gold coins matters enough to me to go over there. I have not gotten a Gwam yet. I have a character that's at like 20 some odd titles. But yeah, there are guides for getting Gwam out there as well, I think, that should be able to help. But you definitely do not need other players, strictly speaking, although purchasing like sweets off of them and stuff can be quite useful. Because I understand it. Do I already have Vow Strength? No. Would it have been good to capture it here? I don't know. There's different strategies for that one. My understanding is that there's an AFK farm for it in Gate of Madness, if you can get that set up. I did it solo, just doing the Dwarven Boxing. But that was quite a while ago that I did that. Dwarven Boxing was slow. But it's very safe to punch dwarves. Because you can just stand back up instead of getting knocked down. So I did that over and over and over and over and over again. Turns out those 27 gold coins were something I wanted to pick up. Who would have thunk it? Yeah, I think the Gate of Madness farm is probably the better way to go about it at this point. I'm never going to get it on another character because I don't have a good reason to, but... And then it's just like, there's a lot of just play the game a bunch. Skill Hunter, which you can get... I imagine you can kind of make Skill Hunter a little bit easier these days with the PvE-only skills that count for each region. Yeah, that helps. That helps with it. Skill Hunter is like the one where like doing all of your vanquishes and everything else as like part of going for it or first or whatever will help you with the money and experience resources you need for it, because it does require a lot of skill points. And then Guardian and Protector will help give you a lot of skill points as well. So I definitely would recommend doing Guardian and Protector and Vanquishing before worrying about Skill Hunter, strictly speaking. Just because it'll help you get the skill points that you're going to need to be able to get it. Yeah. Buying elite skill tomes does not require skill points. It just requires a skill to be unlocked on your account, which may or may not be the case. Yeah, you can buy the like unlock things from the store, but I don't know. Yeah, Flames of Balthazar, you can unlock skills by with Balthazar faction, of course. That was its original use. There's a couple of skills that would have been nice to capture in here, but that's okay, I can get them later. It's weird to have already done Eye of the North by the time I'm doing this. Yeah, if you're approaching it focused on doing it, for sure. And like, for example, if you are working on it by following along with the Zaishin quests, for example. Like when I was working on Vanquisher, I followed along with the Zaishin Vanquish quests. And that gets you a bunch of coins and stuff that you could sell for money or turn into skill tomes, I guess. Or Z keys. Or whatever else. I appreciate that Guam is there for people to work towards. Okay. Yep. Please be responsible with your sleep, but thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. You know what would be a good idea? I'm putting on this hat. It's a good sleepy emoji. Or whatever those are called. Emotes. Back in my day, we had emoticons. A very important invention for trying to communicate tone in a text-based environment, though. Ooh. Man, I have to tell you, doing this with heroes that are level 20 is so much easier than doing it when they're like 15. Yeah. To me, emoticons are when it's just text. Emoji is when it's an icon. So I like have a mental distinction between them. So :D is, hey, bowl of silk. What's weird to me is that silk shows up blue on the ground, but orange in your inventory, and I don't know why that is. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. So I remember doing this with a character where I was coming in fresh and was like, well, here's my level 15 heroes, and just getting absolutely, like, getting wrecked the first time I came in here. Balthazar's Pendulum. Wow, I got by Balthazar's Pendulum. Yeah, I don't remember what was going on with my setup then. Balthazar's Pendulum. Okay, Castellan Pooba. Well done. Thank you for the sincere promo points. I'm on my way. Is that enough that I can get... First of all, do I have a copy of... No, I do not. I should make sure to pick that up before I go on. Thank you. You are a few questions person. Here's what I want to talk to. Yes, absolutely. The issue, of course, being that I don't generally think of it as a particularly good skill. So I got rather surprised when it got me. I'll pick up Eternal Aura and Whirlwind Attack. Absolutely vital. I think that's all I want on this character. I'm being somewhat limited in her secondary professions because I have other assassins, so... Warrior skills. Sure, give me this. Dervish skills. Mystic Figure, those are not great. Yes. 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 Paragon. Yeah. Enduring Harmony is leadership. Signet of Return is good to pick up even if I'm not I'm using it. That's hilarious. Okay, let's see. I need to do some inventory management. Yeah, silver coins are good for iron. Let's see, I think I should be able to turn this commendation in for a salvage kit. Balthazar's Pendulum is one of those skills that I would like significantly better if I could apply it to my entire team at once. Okay, that needs to be ID'd. I'll salvage that. Let's see, what are you? Whatever, I'll just merchant it. I don't need a ton of cloth, but I might as well grab that. Put the dust away. This holy vial is probably dust. Yeah, it is. Okay, I'm gonna merchant the rest of this. Where is the merchant in this town? I think it's over here, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that. Like, if Brace Yourselves was literally don't trip. Because, like, we have this, right? For 5 seconds, party members within earshot cannot be knocked down. Like, this is a nice skill for, yeah, I'm almost at the point where these things are max damage. I need one more level. But, like, Don't Trip is a nice party protection against knockdowns, right? For just a moment. Something that was like the next X knockdowns, though, would also be really nice because that provides you a different option. Where instead of protecting you against... that is not the thing I want to go through. Instead of protecting you against knockdowns, all knockdowns for a certain period of time, it could last longer, but only protect you against... Like, it would wear out if they're spamming knockdowns. That would be very useful. But Balthazar's Pendulum on use just applied to all party members. Probably need slightly different stats, but that would be kind of sweet. Yes, take us to the Churr Fields. Have I gone to... Okay, I'm going to want to try to make sure to stop by... Oh, wait. Does this automatically take me to Consulate Docks? Either way, I want to make sure I'm getting Chawbeck Village on my map. Chawbeck Village is useful to have. At some point, I'm going to want to stop down there as well. And I really love Latenda Bog. Latenda Bog, I think, is my favorite Istan map. Or is my favorite Nightfall map. I really, really like that zone. It gives me a lot of nostalgia for the swamp level in Hexen. For anybody who's familiar with that. Remember to stand at attention. Just waiting for Cormier to finish her speech so I can advance my quest. Sasuke, what are you doing over there? Okay, excellent. That means I can continue on to the Historian Laharo, yes. Chawbeck Village. Which is Minister Cho's estate, but better. I mean, it's the same idea as Minister Cho's estate, but it occurs significantly earlier and is paced significantly better. If it's not clear from that description, I much prefer Chawbeck Village over Minister Cho's estate. I think Minister Cho's estate is one of the worst missions in the game. Just because it's so slowly paced and so boring and so heavily gated. And yeah, it is. They'd really kind of figured stuff out by Nightfall, which is kind of a shame that they decided to give up at that point, but what you gonna do? I can understand where they're coming from. The engine was getting restrictive at that point. For some reason, people were enamored with jumping. They wanted to make a persistent world game. Not that I like persistent world games, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of the drive of what they were wanting to do was at that point had become inconsistent with what the game was. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but Chasing Zenmai and All for One, One for Justice. Let's see, I kind of want to go get these heroes. Let's start by going to Lion's Arch. Let's add Dunkoro and Gwen here. Okay. There's definitely some amount of that I think is the case. Like, one of the things that they're trying to do with their business model is appeal to people who didn't like subscription fees, and for that they needed to make the game very efficient. And I think that's part of what may have led to the instance, because it has fewer overall interactions happening between players in the instanced combat zones. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know enough about their architectural back end, but yeah. But I really like the outposts and then instanced like formula. I like the way that it structures the world and organizes it. Yeah. I tried to work at ArenaNet, but I did not get hired. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too, like, yeah, programming. I don't know, there's so many things about the way Guild Wars 1 ends up functioning. Like, it's a combination of intentional decisions and then also, like, the way those decisions kind of, the consequences thereof. Because, like, their desire to try to be able to be low network requirement to make it more accessible to people with worse internet, particularly in the States, is really significant. But also, like, not having a subscription fee is something that I love about the game, because... But it's like, for me even, like, discovering Guild Wars, there's so many, like, things that came together for it, for me to discover it, and then for it to be a game that is, like, so fantastic for me and what I enjoy from games. Like, Guild Wars 1 is my favorite game. And that's in part because the build system is so versatile, but so meaningful. Because like it's not good enough just to have a really versatile build system. That build system has to be meaningful. And it is. Like, there's lots of different things you can do, and the instance, like, team gameplay, and yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the order in which things developed, but I can definitely see the argument for what you're saying. And then, like, the introduction of henchmen in order to be able to make teams work, leading to heroes, that allows the game to still persist to today. Never minding the fact that the initial henchmen were typically something you wanted to avoid using, but... Shield bash. Yeah. Like, I think heroes have proven to be really good for the long-term, like, longevity of the game. I think they've been critical for it. And they make the game a lot more interesting to play. I don't think the game should have launched with them, though. And it didn't, but I don't think it should have. Let's see. What do I need to do now? Click Arlen and Commandant. Okay. Let's go get... Oh, I've got too many quests. Chasing Zenmai. Yeah. Like, they added heroes at just the right time, I think. In terms of, like, what ended up happening. Let's get Elona and Olivia in here. I'm going to switch Olivia back over to more of a prot style. This is an interesting question, but do I have... Let's see, I want to give her prot spirit. Do I have guardian? Yeah, okay, good. I don't think I'm going to run afoul of copies here. I don't think I need hex control on her. Yeah, for sure. Like, I think that the way they ended up handling heroes just ended up proving to be really, really good, even if it was not entirely their intention from the start to have it work out exactly that way. Where is... I know I have Aegis. I have 2 copies of Aegis. Okay, well, we're sticking one on here. I kind of am feeling draw conditions, but I don't... Okay, I do have draw. It's an odd idea, but Foul Feast has a 4-second recharge and so does draw, so I kind of want to have both? But it might be better to just... Actually, this is an odd one, but I think Mending Touch might be good here. Because she can use it to remove conditions from somebody else in the backline. But she can also remove conditions that she Foul Feasts to herself to as well. Yeah, I think I'll roll with that. I'm liking this weird bar, actually, reasonably well. I'm going to keep doing this. Maybe I should replace Mystic Twister with something else. But I think I'm fine with it for now. Yeah. On the other hand, BIP doesn't require much energy and soul reaping, so... But yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, I need to talk to Linro, who's over this way. Do I have... not enough to worry about. Oh, I absolutely forgot. I just got Olias. I need to add skills for Olias. He's a Prophecy's Necromancer, so let's add skills for Prophecy's Necromancer. Oh, I got another copy of BIP. How delightful. And Wither, which is an absolute garbage skill. Consume Corpse, Rigor Mortis, and Wither are the new ones. Rigor Mortis is actually really nice to see. That can be quite useful. Wither is a garbage skill because the AI doesn't ever use it. I don't know why, but for some reason, unless they patch that, they don't ever cast Wither, and it's very distressing. Aura of the Lich. Not right now. I don't feel like monkeying about with bars too much is the main thing. Okay, Buckduck Byway. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Zenmai, and then I'm going to go do Consulate Docks, and probably call the stream there at that point. Been going for like 3.5 hours by that point, probably. It's about 3 hours now. That's a good stream. I've been having fun playing Guild Wars, though. Advancing this character. Don't know how much you can hear me drinking that water, but it's a little warm in my room. My room tends to trap heat. Our house has very poor airflow. Despite the fact that I am not fond of playing... I think I've gone the wrong way. Playing Guild Wars 2, I have to say, I am really curious to see how they execute on Cantha. I really want Wooden Potatoes to start up his Let's Play again of Guild Wars 2. Because I like seeing what they do with stuff, I just don't want to actually play it. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Where is this turned in? Okay. Very elsewhere. At some point I'm going to do a bunch of these quests. I do not know when that is. Drink Master. Did I? Huh. Okay, I had that quest too. I'll do Winds of Change on this character at some point, but I'm only going to do the Skill Booster League through Nightfall. After Nightfall, I'm going to be setting it aside on this character. That's usually what I've done, is I've played through the standard campaigns. So, Prophecies, Nightfall factions. I'm going to get jumped by some Ampha here. Brian gets wrecked by them usually. So he's level 8. And then, yeah. Brian, congratulations, you actually survived. That's rare. So yeah, I do the skill booster league through Prophecies, Factions, Nightfall, and Eye of the North, and so I just have Nightfall left on this character. At which point, I mean, I have I have 2 other characters that are going through skill booster leagues as well that I probably want to get to at some point. I have a Paragon. I know, right? So often he just gets ganked there. I have a Paragon and a Warrior that are doing skill booster leagues. So I might do some of that with them, but I'll just do whatever on her after that. So that includes War in Kryta, Winds of Change, Hearts of the North, dungeons, and whatever else I may want to do. Probably want to do some dungeon diving with her so I can get my Dwarven rank up. So I want to get her some armor pieces from that. Yeah. Exactly. So, like, yeah, to explain the Skill Booster League, the idea is I have a limited pool of skills to work with, and that includes quantities. So I'll go over it once I get skills from Zenmai, I think. I guess I shouldn't technically have gotten skills from Olias yet, because I haven't actually added Olias, so that was maybe a little premature, but whatever. But yeah, when I turn in those quests, I'll go over it in a little bit more detail. But the basic gist of it is I have a limited pool of skills, including quantities of those skills. And I give myself packs of skills when I get a new hero. I get a pack of skills, usually around 20 to 30 skills, related from their profession based upon the region they're from. So, for example, Olias gets Prophecies skills because he's from Prophecies, or from Tyria. Prophecies plus Core. Livia gets Prophecies plus Eye of the North skills because she's from Tyria. She's Tyrian, but also an Eye of the North. Master of Whispers will get Nightfall plus Core skills, and that sort of thing. So there's that, and then whenever I reach a new world region, which I'm basing basically on the way world regions are handled for the anniversary event for getting proofs, then I also will get a new pack of skills, but it'll be a much larger pack of skills from the like region, except Eye of the North I handle differently. So like when I finish Consulate Docks, I'll have gone from Istan, which is a region, to Korna, which is a region, and I will get a new pack of Nightfall skills from Korna. And then I'll get another one in Vabi, another one in Desolation, and then another in the Realm of Torment, which is where when I went to Ascalon earlier, I got another pack of skills. So what do I do for awarding myself skills? So I go... in Eye of the North, it's whenever I turn into Monumental Tapestry, I get 25 Eye of the North skills, kind of just at random. So I go into this program, and I select the set that I'm adding. So, for example, Prophecies Necromancer. The next one will be Factions Assassin for Zenmai. And then I add one booster. So it just gives me a few more skills in my pool to work with. And so if you look at that program, which I know I closed, but I'll bring it back in a bit here. I have limited quantities of each skill as well. So if you saw Mending Touch earlier, I have one copy of Mending Touch. So it's kind of like a codex, but it's like a more restricted codex in some regards. But it's also one that can kind of expand a little bit as well. I don't do... So I'm only using this for heroes because my account has all skills unlocked. And so it allows me to, instead of building heroes with every single skill available in the game that heroes can use, it means that my heroes are restricted in terms of what they use. So the assassin I'm playing, I'm not restricting. Now, if I was doing something with one of my other characters that... Because what I've done traditionally with skill booster leagues is it's been a new character. So, you know, they don't have many skills available, but I have all skills available for my heroes. So in order to make things a little bit more interesting for the process of playing through the game, to feel like I'm advancing and stuff on my heroes and not just my player character, I use the Skill Booster League. In terms of like setting up a Skill Booster League for playing, yeah, it's just a hero restriction, exactly. In terms of setting up a Skill Booster League for a character that is already existing, that has already gone through all the content, and I'm just going through something new that has, you know, all the skills that I could want for them, sort of thing, or many of the skills that I want for them, or whatever. I haven't gone through and figured out a rule set for that yet. So the rule set that I'm playing with is one for a new character that, and that's part of why, like, I go through all of the campaigns and stuff, and then once I've gone through all of the campaigns and I have North, it's like, okay, I kind of end it because I've done the run of what this Skill Booster League was supposed to do. The character's kind of like gone through all the stuff, as it were, and so that's kind of like, I restrict the character when I'm playing them until that point, just because I think then it makes it a little bit more interesting. But once I get far enough, I loose that restriction on heroes, because I'm like, okay, they've arrived, sort of thing, if that makes sense. It makes it a lot more interesting for for playthroughs of the game. In terms of like, okay, what do I do with my heroes? How do I build them and stuff? So yeah, I'm happy to answer any other questions. Like I said, I'll go over the app side of it a little bit more in a moment. I just want to finish getting Zenmai. Where do babies come from? Cellular division, if you want to get right down to it. See, there's the... It depends upon which species you're talking about. Different species have slightly different ways of handling it. But typically, in sexual reproduction, there is a... is zygote or gamete the right term? I'm not sure. But, there's like some specific spots that you need to walk to make this work. This is a little finicky. So you have the male reproductive cell and the female reproductive cell, and then they get together and combine to make a new set of DNA that grows, depending upon the exact structure, in a uterus or in an egg, and then becomes a baby at that point, or when it's born or whenever. There's some argument about when exactly that change happens. Thankfully, it has absolutely nothing to do with 5G, or we'd be absolutely screwed as a species. Because 5G is so new, if it required 5G to have babies, we would be in a terrible state. Well, I appreciate it. There's also the method of plant reproduction, which involves seeds and like pollen fertilizing the plant parts. I'm not a botanist. I've said that before in other things too, but I don't know, but probably. That sounds like something that's likely to be a coincidence. Okay, Zenmai. Let's see, I just need to go clock. Okay. Quick Arlon. I'm gonna go visit you and get my friends unlocked. If I can remember how to use the map. And lose half my party. There you go. Okay, there's Clerk Arlon. Okay, all for one and one for justice. This is when I should have gotten the skills for Olias, but I did it already. And Zenmai. Let's grab skills for Zenmai. Okay, add one booster. So I get a pop-up window that you can't see because it doesn't get captured, but I can see what skills I got added here. So I got a bunch of skills for assassin heroes to use. But if I scroll down, you can see the new ones that got added. So, like Siphon Speed, Repeating Strike, Shadow Form, and Siphon Strength, and Expunge Enchantments. The others are duplicates, so what you'll notice if I scroll down to anywhere, but like Assassin, there's stuff that I got, like Mobius Strike, I think was one of the skills that I got there. And here you can see 2, which means I have 2 copies of the skill, so I can use Mobius Strike on 2 different characters. This has notably been rather significant in terms of resurrection skills, because I have been very limited in terms of resurrection skills. So, if you look in Healing Prayers here, I have 1 copy of Restore Life, wherever the heck Restore Life is. I've lost it. Here it is. Restore Life. So you can see there's a 1 here in the corner. That means I have 1 copy of this to use across my entire party. So that's very, very limited. Whereas, like, I have 3 copies of Guardian I can use across my party, or 4 copies of Rebirth if I wanted to be using Rebirth, and I do not, because Rebirth is terrible mid-combat. Yeah, exactly. So if you're not getting lots of copies of Energy Surge, you're limited. So, like, maybe you can run 1 E-Surger, but you don't have enough to run multiple. So I do have 3 copies of E-Surge, so I could be running that. But I am limited in other things. Like, I only have 1 copy of Cry of Frustration, so I can't, like, do 3 copies of Cry of Frustration. So I'd have to get creative. I have 1 Shatter Hex, so I can only use Shatter Hex on 1 of my Mesmers. I don't have Drain Enchantment, so I can't use any copies of Drain Enchantment, but I could use 1 Leech Signet. And I have 1 Power Drain as well. Last I saw, unless I got one in something I didn't notice. Yeah, here it is. So I have 1 copy of Power Drain, so I can only use 1 Power Drain across my entire party. So it's extremely restrictive in that regard. But I could use Arcane Conundrum on 5 different characters. So it adds some variability. It's a little bit different from a Codex, because a Codex, I like this over here, is just like, these are the skills that you get to use, any number of copies across your party that you want to. This is a bit softer, so I can have more skills in it, but in terms of, like, there are more skills available to me in my pool, but I can't necessarily just use infinite copies. So I actually like the Skill Booster League better than a Codex in that regard. And I find it to be really interesting and fun that way. So, and it's great for, like, an ongoing thing, because in, like, a playthrough, because, like, oh, you get some more skills here and there, and that allows you to be able to kind of expand what you're doing, but it may or may not be useful to add skills, or you may or may not have gotten skills that were useful to have added and things like that. So I really like overall how it plays, and I have quite enjoyed it. Let's just add these guys all here. There's an argument for running... Yeah, I think... There's an argument for running Serenia instead of Sasuke. That goes something like having Swirling Aura might be good with all of the Rangers in this mission. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to boot Sasuke and add in Serenia of the Void here. So that way she can Swirling Aura and Blurred Vision to help protect us from archers. Yeah, she's just using elemental stuff. That's not going to violate anything. I might have Blinding Surge. I'm just happy running Thunderclap here for some additional conditions and stuff. Let me actually, before I start Consulate Docks, let's try to spell it correctly. I'm looking it up on the wiki to see if there's elite skills that I might want to capture here. I already have Pious Renewal, so that's obviously not a skill I want to capture. Cautery Signet, Master of Magic, and Mage Hunter Strike. Unfortunately, Mage Hunter Strike is strength, so that's not interesting. Cautery Signet, Do I want Cautery Signet? It's not bad to have access to. I'm just trying to decide if I want to go. Hello, Giram. It is late afternoon for me, I'd say. But welcome. Let's see, I think I will go / Paragon here. I want to go like this. Signet of Capture. I want... Okay. Yeah, don't worry. I'm planning on wrapping up fairly soon. You know what? Let's do some Great Dwarf armor. And let's grab a Falling Lotus. There, that should work. I'm a little distracted by figuring out my skills. Okay, I think I should be good. Let's go ahead and hit up these Consulate Docks, eh? We are ready. There we go. Ah, gotcha. Ah, yes. Nothing like the moment when you look at your bar and realize you're not running any elite skills. Because you're an assassin. About to get... Well, I'm glad you had fun with the game, and welcome. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, or at least attempt to. Yes, I want to take out this field marshal, thank you. I want masters here so I can get myself a nice, lovely pile of skill points. This spot, your goal is actually to take out Lumanda. Pretty sure. You do kind of a poor job of communicating that that's your goal. Let's capture that skill. Boom! Elite acquired. What am I doing on skill points? 17? I might buy some skills for this character after this. Oh. That's unfortunate. Well, you can always fill out another Hero's Handbook if you want to replay stuff. Actually, you can get a good number of the Dwarven reputation points by doing the dungeons and filling out a Master Dungeons guide. A Dungeon Master guide? Whatever it is. The dungeon book. Along the way. unites the... Gotcha. We did. Is that an hour ago already? Hey, Scrub Wave. Yeah, Winchell's Collapse is really nice. This character's just not far enough to have it yet. I could theoretically be using Shadow Theft, though. Instead of Great Dwarf Armor. Which probably would be preferable. I just didn't think about it. I was like, I want an enchantment in order to make sure I'm enchanted for Golden Fox Strike. But I've got a couple on my other characters, so they're able to kind of keep me enchanted. I don't know. I don't mind having a little bit of extra HP and armor. Yeah, there's a lot. Part of it is because they had a model of trying to release new campaign every 6 months that they didn't quite match. They got close with the time between Factions and Nightfall. Factions was about a year after Prophecies. But that means that they were really churning stuff out. And that affected things even when Eye of the North was coming out. And then the live team that was maintaining it afterwards kept adding stuff with Guild Wars Beyond. Yeah. I don't know what sort of game Guild Wars 3 would be, is the issue for me. I want to like Guild Wars 2, but unfortunately I just find it boring. So I don't know if but there are people who enjoy Guild Wars 2, so it's like, yeah, I prefer the combat system from Guild Wars 1 as well. It's like, for people who like Guild Wars 2, they want a Guild Wars 3 to be more like Guild Wars 2, and for people who like Guild Wars 1, they'd want a Guild Wars 3 to be more like Guild Wars 1. So it's like... yeah. I certainly wouldn't object to that. I need not fudge the order of my skills. I think you could definitely make that work. I'm definitely, like, would be happy to see experimentation with some of that stuff. Yeah. We were talking about that earlier. Like, one of the things that happens with Guild Wars 2 is everybody's playing solo, regardless of, in the open world at least, regardless of, you know, how many other players are around them. Whereas Guild Wars 1, you need a team to function, unless you're doing very specific things. I always have to include the caveats. I feel like I mean, I haven't played Guild Wars 2 enough to really have a strong sense here. But my memory of Guild Wars 2 is I feel like they used music in a lot more haphazard of a way than they did in Guild Wars 1. I feel like in Guild Wars 1 is a lot more intentionally used. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Scrolling through chat. Letting my heroes do all the work. Yeah, I played... Like, I've gotten 100% map completion from, like, pre-Heart of Thorns. I don't know how Heart of Thorns affects that. And then I played through some amount of Heart of Thorns. I think I technically beat the boss. I couldn't tell you what the heck was happening then, though. It was very confusing. And that's where I stopped. I think there's a break as well between, like, my first run of the game and, Heart of the North coming out. Okay. Quest for base. Also, I need to add some more skills for reaching a new world region, so I'll do that in just a moment. Hey, Salty Grease. Yeah, you joined just as I'm about to wrap up the stream for the day. Unfortunate timing, but here we are. Yeah. Classic costs getting captured. Okay. Let's add a booster of Nightfall skills. Where is Nightfall? Nightfall General. Melee heroes are... Like, I don't know if you're talking about narratively or mechanically. Melee heroes suffer from pathfinding issues, making them often ineffective. You have to be really careful about how you're calling targets to make sure that they're not getting body blocked on enemies in order, like, in between things. That's true. He doesn't have to be essential. Ah, yes. Nothing like more copies of Remove Hex and Smite Hex. Wow, that's a bunch of Dervish elites. Balthazar's Pendulum. Weaken armor is good to see. I'll scroll in the thing in a moment here. No resurrection skills. That is unfortunate. Holy haste for whatever good that skill is. I don't think I've ever used it. Don't know if I ever will. Yeah, I can also understand not liking Costa's personality. And that is totally understandable to me as well. Okay, yeah, that's a bunch of new stuff. Balthazar's Rage is a really good pickup. I like that one. Lift Enchantment can be useful. Vicious Attack is ditto. Man, I wish we had Old Shadow Walk back. Back when it was just Shadow Step to target foe and effect return to your original location. Once I added the disables your attack skills for 1 second and disables your stances enchantments for 10 seconds, they completely, like, dumpstered the skill and it ceased to be interesting. The original version was so much cooler. Wild Throw is a good pickup. Hidden Caltrops is a weird skill. I don't feel like there's very many instances where I want Hidden Caltrops over regular Caltrops. After Landry can be useful. Not a whole lot of exciting stuff in that as far as I'm concerned, but... Hey, thank you, Scrubway, for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah. I also kind of wish they hadn't changed the true teleport skills to be shadow steps, consume corpse and the like. I think they were cooler when they were actual teleport skills instead of whatever you want to call the things they are now. I think shadow steps are always pathfinding based. But there were some teleport effects that were not pathfinding based. In that the like consume corpse and rebirth and necrotic traversal. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. The ones from a year ago or so. It was really exciting when they came out. I'm going to withdraw, I don't know, some platinum. Let's see, do I have all of the assassin stuff? I'm going to grab a couple more segments of capture. I eventually am going to want most of these skills, but I'm not quite sure the order in which I want to get them. Let's pick up We Shall Return. I don't remember. Indeed. Very new. I'll grab Seeking Blade. Don't know why I still don't have Gash. Those are all nice to have. Lots of Dervish skills I don't have yet. I want Reap Impurities. Victorious Sweep is also really nice to have. I'll withdraw a few more plat for a few more skills. This one is one that I kept wanting to make use of. I'll grab Swap now. Yep, they are new according to the wiki. I'm pretty sure you're right. Running Aura. Mystic Healing is nice. Guiding Hands might not be bad to pick up. Yeah, let's grab Vow of Piety. Okay, I'll pick up more of those over time. But now's not the time. I like to salvage the iron out of these guys. Let's see. I don't mind getting a little bit more tanned hide here. How's my stores of cloth? Okay, I'm doing fine on cloth. Alrighty, well, I'm going to be wrapping up the stream here as well. So I thank everybody for dropping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't know when I'll be back with Guild Wars. It's kind of as I feel like it thing, but I am planning for the next sort of playing through games stream to learn about game design by playing them to be on Monday. So that'll be happening. And I have a Discord for anybody who wants to join there, hang out, talk about game design or whatever. Always happy to talk about Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars as well. I mean, I'm happy to talk about Guild Wars 2 and my thoughts there as well, if people want. But, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap stuff up here. So thank you all for watching. And when next I see you, until then, everyone, take care. And goodbye.